Welcome to Day 17 on the Trail. We have 4 readings for today, from Luke 9, verses 1 through 9, Genesis 28, verse 6 through 30, verse 24, the 26th Psalm, and Sirach chapter 21, verse 1 through 22, verse 26. We begin in Sirach chapter 21, where we find additional instructions about our speech. In verses 25 and 26, the author writes, "The lips of babblers speak of what is not their concern, but the words of the prudent are weighed in the balance. The mind of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their mind." Similar instructions are found throughout the Bible. For example, in Proverbs chapter 17 it says, "Even fools who keep silent are considered wise. When they close their lips, they are deemed intelligent." Again, in Proverbs 10, "When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but the prudent are restrained in speech." And from the New Testament, in the book of James, "You must understand this, my beloved. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, for your anger does not produce God's righteousness." We are repeatedly reminded that what we say is especially important. Our words are powerful and lasting. Therefore, we are to guard our speech so that we can speak with wisdom and kindness. And perhaps most importantly, when we do not have something meaningful to say, it is best to say nothing at all. And now in Genesis 28, we continue the story of Jacob. Jacob has lied to his father and stolen the birthright and blessing from his brother Esau. Now Esau wants to kill his brother, so Jacob flees from his home and journeys to the home of Laban, his mother's brother. Along the way, Jacob stops to rest for the night. As he slept, he had a dream in which God said to him, "I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And all families of the earth shall be blessed in you and your offspring." And then in verse 15, God also tells Jacob this, "Know that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land." So God not only gives Jacob the promise that he gave to Abraham, but he promises to be with Jacob. However, this great promise from God does not seem to be enough for Jacob. Instead, he tries to bargain with God. In verse 20, Jacob says, "If God will be with me and will keep me in the way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God, and this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And all that you give me, I will surely give 1/10 to you." Despite God promising to be with Jacob, and God himself initiating that promise first, Jacob feels it is necessary to make a deal with God, to give God 10% of something that God has promised to give him in the first place. As we saw in the story of Jacob's theft of his brother's blessing and birthright, Jacob wants to maintain control of his destiny above all else. However, Jacob will meet his match in his uncle, Laban. Like Jacob, Laban will resort to deception to enrich himself. Over the next 14 years, Jacob will have to work in Laban's household. During that time, Jacob will learn how to trust God and face the struggle between control of his own destiny and faith in God. Now, one of the most memorable elements of the story is the image of a stairway to heaven that Jacob sees in his dream. In verse 11, we read, "As night fell, he dreamed that there was a ladder set up on earth, the top of it reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it." Personally, I find it very interesting that angels needed a ladder or a stairway. After all, we often envision angels with wings. The angels which are placed on top of our Christmas trees have wings on them. However, perhaps the presence of the ladder teaches us something about our relationship with God. Life with God is a step-by-step journey in both directions. Unlike an escalator or an airplane, ladders or stairs are able to work in both directions at the same time. Ladders are more about connection than transportation. This ladder, or this stairway to heaven, was built to connect the heights of heaven directly to the muck of our brokenness and the uncertainty of life on this earth. This ladder is firmly and permanently placed in our world and reminds us that God is still involved and working among us. This ladder is waiting for us as well, to stop running from God or waiting for God to act, and to begin the courageous climb toward a life with God. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, stay on the trail.